thing at the moment is that Indigenous players, they make up 10% of the AFL playing list. I know a couple of years ago that dropped off, but it's gone up again, and there's lots of great young fellas here in the audience tonight who'll probably end up playing league football at some stage, but 10% is a pretty good stat at the moment.
Brother, it's a great number, and being a former player, I'm not such a pioneer as Phil Cracker and Jimmy Cracker were, but they're trailblazers, and that's where it all started. I'll never forget team photo, Phil, in 1986, I think it was, and my brother Greg McAdam was in it, and you and Jimmy was in it. Brother, you know how many Indigenous players were on that poster? There was about 9. That's all there was. There was 9 players. And you talk about it now, it makes me so proud. Well done to our brothers.
And Phil, I can remember when you were playing in the Waffle before you come over to the VFL, but there's always been lots of Noongar players in the Waffle, hasn't there? That wasn't like the VFL in those days. There's only 2 or 3, as Gilbert was saying, in the early 70s. But in the Waffle, there's always been a lot of Indigenous players, stars of the game.
And Sample.
And so, yeah, absolutely, Grant. I remember back in the 70s, there were the Cables, Farmers, the Riolis, you know, there's so many. And when I was a kid looking, wanted to play football, these were the guys I actually looked up to. And then I remember, Grant, 1970, seen on black and white television, the great Sid Jackson. And I said, gee, wouldn't it be nice?
Lindsay, so the Kangaroos have had a proud history of Indigenous players at the club, and how special is that to you?
Yeah, it's very special. I guess when I first got to the footy club 11 years ago, I had Daniel Wiles and Eddie Sainsbury and Jaron Wyman and all those guys, and before those guys, obviously had Phil and Jimmy as well. So very proud history. You know, we had our season launch of our Indigenous Guernsey.
Yeah, I think Grant emceed that.
Yeah, Grant was MC on Tuesday night. So, you know, our footy club's very proud of our history, and you know, I'm absolutely shattered that I won't be able to run out with the boys this weekend, but I'm definitely pretty proud of our history at our footy club.
Yeah. And who are some of the Indigenous players that were your heroes or role models growing up?
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate, I guess, growing up, you know, coming from a footy club back in Port Lincoln, where I had Peter, Sean, Byron Pickett. I played alongside Eddie Betts, so I couldn't go past, you know, Sean and Peter. They were just absolutely jets. Back growing up and watching them play now is special.
Now, Phil, how do you feel when you see these boys running around? But what about when we're in these Indigenous jumpers this round as well?
Yeah, proud. Like, you know, like I remember when Jimmy and I first started, Grant, back in 1982. There was only, I think, 3 at the time playing AFL. There was the great late Maurice Rioli and my brother Jimmy and myself. And it was difficult. And I think the hardest part of back in the early 80s were trying to change, if you like, the perception, the way people viewed Aboriginal people. And I think we've come a long way. So it's wonderful.
And over the journey, Phil, North Melbourne Football Club had 24 Indigenous players represent the club. So that's a huge number. And they were certainly at the forefront of modern Indigenous players playing AF football. I know Essendon proudly like to walk that out a lot, but the North Melbourne Football Club are probably the pioneers with it. Now, Phil, you and Lindsay actually have a lot in common, and you're both Kangaroos, both left-footers, both goal kickers, both deadly, and you both kick very similar goals. So let's take a look at some of your highlights.
Phil Cracker on the boundary line. Look at him scoot. He'll get away here from Donnell. Left.
Oh, look at Phil just spins around on the boundary line now on the left foot. Gil, look at that. The goalpost a lot bigger now.
I think you got goal of the year for that. You got goal of the year.
Did you say a lot bigger? Yeah. I knew it was coming.
And then, of course, we've got Lindsay with his goal. Let's check out Lindsay. And as I say, both North Melbourne players, both left footers at the same part of the ground on his left foot. Bang, a goal! And you ended up on your back, both ended up on your back after you kicked them. You had a puff or something, or?
Yeah, just had a little rest, yeah.
Can I say something about Indigenous?
I reckon Phil's given him a few lessons. Kick a goal, brother, lay back, relax.
Indigenous players over the years, we love kicking them from the boundaries, but you know what, brother, when we're right in front, I don't know what happens, we miss, I don't know.